Hey gang, Dr. B here. I want to describe this week's project a little bit. Last week we reviewed some of the basics of research approaches and methods. We covered descriptive, correlational, and experimental approaches and some of their basic methodologies. So that was hopefully a quick and tidy review of what you covered way back when you took research methods 1 and 2, or an equivalent course or set of courses. Um, so anyway, for this assignment, what I want you to do is to get out there and do a rather simple naturalistic observation. And as the assignment describes, all of us are people watchers, and a lot of people when they're new to this have the assumption that doing observational studies is just sort of people watching. You know, we're all people, and people watchers. And if you've never done a naturalistic observation, getting out there and doing one is kind of eye opening. And so I want you to go out and do one. Now, as I describe in the assignment, we typically start research with a question, not a tool. So, you know, we don't grab a hammer out of the toolbox and go, oh, what can I pound with this? We start with a need and then go get the right tool. So let's start with a need here. Let's have a question in mind. So I'll keep it kind of simple rather than have you come up with your own research topic. I'll give you a question. The question is going to be rather deceptively simple sounding, and that is, who touches whom more frequently, right? Who touches whom more? And what do I mean by that? So a deceptively simple question should beg additional questions, and you need more answers before you can run out and do this. So who are the who's, who are the whom's? What do I mean by touch? So all of these things need to be operationally defined before we can proceed with this research. So the who and the whom's are males and females. We'll keep it simple. Males and females. Who does more of the touching? Who's touching who? Um, so we got four possible simple options here. Females touching females, females touching males, males touching females, and males touching males. So before we get much further, I'm going to ask you to stop and pause and think about, what do you think the answer to that question is? Which of those four options do you think is most likely? Write that down. Write down your answer options so that you don't have one of those I knew it all along moments, where you know, when you do come to the get an answer to the question, we deceptively think that we knew it all along, or mistakenly believe that we knew something all along. So write down your prediction. All right. Now, as soon as you do that, I want you to be aware of something right off the bat, that going forward with this research, you now have a bias. All right. So as a researcher, you now made a prediction about what you think. And so recognize that you might be biased as to what you think the answer will be, and that might, maybe even despite any efforts that you make, shape your observations somehow. So how are you going to address and deal with the fact that you now have a bias? What other biases do you have for doing an observation like this? So I'm gonna have you stop and think about all of the things that you need to do before you run out the door and do this observation. So we now know that, you know, who the who's and the whom's are. You'll have to stop and reflect upon what is meant by touch. What are you going to mean by touch? Um, uh, when you're making observations, simple observations like this, I don't want you running up and asking anybody. You know, we're not going to ask people, you know, hey, why did you touch that person? So we won't get into intentions at all. But let's maybe rule out accidental touches, bumps and nudges and things like that. You know, two people accidentally bumping into each other, someone backing into somebody that they don't see behind them or something like that. So again, you never know the intention. So did somebody actually purposely or intentionally touch somebody? But let's kind of stick to the simple, like what seems to be intentional touching. And but still, there's lots of questions that you're going to need to probably think about before you can just run on and collect this data. So, um, What about multiple touches? Or, is somebody patting somebody a few times on the shoulder? Is that 3 touches, or is that a single touch? Um, Lots and lots of other things that I'm going to have you sit down, reflect, and stew upon before you go out and do it. So before you run out there, I want you to stop and think. Maybe spend 15, 20 or more minutes um, thinking about what you're doing and what your variables are and how you're going to address and deal with those biases and the realities of actually collecting that information. So iron out a procedure as best you can before running out and giving it a try, okay? So anyway, the details are posted in a little, in a brief synopsis of what this is about. But I just wanted to help you and get you started on this topic a little bit. Mostly get out there and have a little fun doing it. And as I say in the write up, keep it simple, keep it clean, keep it legal, keep it ethical. Go in some public place on campus if you're on campus, or go somewhere where people are. No bathrooms. Okay, I don't want you getting carried off by the police, beaten up, or getting in any kind of trouble. All right, so keep it a real simple process, and go out and go somewhere where you'll see people, so you can actually get a little, actually tally up some numbers. All right, so again, give it a good thought before you run out and do it. And then I want you to write up a paper about it. I would advise doing it in a typical APA style. It's a good format. You should be familiar with it by now as a senior in psychology, and it gives you a good organization for the process. Okay, but when you're all done, you'll have a little bit of an introduction to the topic. You'll have a methodology that I want you to sit down, and then you'll go out and implement and try. And it'll be some trial and error as you go out there. You'll realize, oh, I didn't think of everything, and it might shape how you wind up doing your observation. So anyway, when it's all said and done, draft up what your procedure was, what your methodology was. We're not going to go into a lot of the details and an analysis of the results, but so instead of giving a real full-blown APA style, you don't have to, unless you want, you don't have to do this, any hardcore statistics on this. So just sort of give a good attempt to summarize what the results of your observation are, and then discuss it. Write a discussion, and then in the discussion, I want to hear what did you think about beforehand? What did you not? When you got out there and were doing it, what did you realize? Oh gosh, I didn't think of this very adequately or clearly. So include that in your discussion. Now, if I didn't mention it all here, I also want you to do a rudimentary sort of literature search to find out, what other research might have been done out there on who touches whom more frequently. Touch and gender and touching, topics like that. Okay, and now normally we would run out and do that kind of stuff before. That's an early first step in doing research. Find out what others have done, the lit search. Frankly, I want you to do it in reverse for this. I want you to go out and give it the college try first, and run into all the foibles and troubles and oh my gosh, I want you to realize what doing a naturalistic observation really can entail. Okay, there's a lot more thought that needs to go into it than we would probably recognize or predict going into it. So I want you to go out there and make mistakes. All right, one of my mantras all the time in teaching is don't be afraid to fail. Okay, what does it mean to fail? Here's what I think the word fail means. First attempt in learning. Fail. All right, so get out there and fail and see what you learn in that first attempt. Then get online and do some searches to find out what's been done, and read real quickly what's been done and how their methodologies and results compared to what you cooked up and came up with and did. All right, so include that kind of stuff in your introduction and in your discussion afterwards. All right. A semi-big project, semi-simple, semi-big at the same time. Your seniors, capstone, you can do it. All right, confident. All right, we're not going to make this a super huge involved project. This is a quick, one-off, week-long kind of project. So I'd like you to do this in about a week's time. All right, so anyway, I hope that's enough to get you started and get you dangerous. All right, so have some fun with it, and I'm looking forward to reading up what you did, what you found. All right, good luck. See you next time.